What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another YouTube video. If you don't know me already, my name is Kai Guy, and I would appreciate if you stay till the end, watch today's video, and if you do like it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as it does help me out a lot. Anyways, let's get right into today's video, talking about the Nissan R34 Skyline. Everybody loves it. Everybody wants one. I personally think it's just such an awesome car. Any of the Skylines, really, from the R32 to the R35, I really enjoy. And the world agrees with me. So along with people loving this R34 GTR, a lot of people like it a bit too much, and that causes the price to rise in value tremendously. We've seen a massive jump over the years, and it continues to rise every single day because of people just falling in love with this car. First off, is probably the most notable of these reasons, is that the R34 GTR is actually illegal to drive on US roads because of the 24-year import rule. So this is kind of like on the cusp. I guess some are starting to come into the US. I've seen a couple myself at Hive Auto Garage down in San Diego. They do have a lot of cool R34s. They actually have Paul Walker's GTR there. But yes, it is illegal to drive on US roads as of now. Most notably, people love this R34 just because of its superb power. There's a lot of power in this, and you can just do a lot with the engine. It's very reliable. It doesn't really break down. The RB26 is such a great engine, and it has a lot of good handling and raw performance made by this RB26 engine, and it's just amazing looking and amazing sounding, amazing performing, amazing everything. So at the beginning of this car's engine only had 276 horsepower. Not a lot, but it still was enough to get by. But this tuning potential is just amazing on this car. Apparently with a simple remap, you can get this over 400 horsepower. I've seen some GTRs that actually have 800 or 1000 horsepower, and they're actually crazy. So yeah, I mean, I just love the car, and there's a lot you can actually do with this platform. You can just basically build anything you want off this platform, which makes it such a good car. So the reason for it being able to handle all this power is because it had a all-wheel drive system and can handle a lot more torque than it was actually provided at the factory. It had some nice 18-inch wheels, and it was just ahead of its time. It was kind of begging to be tuned in a way. So adding more onto the engine, this was the RB26 engine underneath this car. It was an amazing engine, and it was actually powered by the inline six, and it was limited to a 276 horsepower right out of the lot. And they did tune this down just because of regulations, but they did actually test it, and it was 330 horsepower. So a little more from the factory, but they had to tune it down due to regulations. So with this being said, it was a descendant of the GT1 engine, and it actually had 8,000 RPM redline, which if you have a car or you've been in a car that has around an 8,000 RPM redline, it is truly amazing. It is a fun time, and I can see why people love the R34 because of it. So another reason this car got popular, probably one of the main reasons, was the pop culture icon Paul Walker, kind of starring in Fast and Furious. And back then, Fast and Furious was more focused on street racing and the street scene rather than, you know, jumping through buildings and shooting people. So back then, Paul Walker drove this R34, and it was truly amazing. As all the other cars were, they were truly amazing, but this car stood out, and this film was a hit. I'm sure that's why a bunch of people love the R34 today, is because they saw Paul Walker driving it and they thought, man, this is a cool car, without knowing that the RB26 engine is also very good, and they just saw this and were in love. So adding on to the all-wheel drive system, this has a increased stability because it was able to handle more torque. As I said before, it was able to handle more torque, so therefore you could tune it a lot better. So this, including the more torque, it had the all-wheel drive system, and it was truly amazing around corners, amazing around turns, and it was just ahead of its time in handling. And it was shown, if you get to drive an R34 or you get to see videos of it, it truly is a masterpiece for its time. Now, a lot of people don't know this. They just look at the outside of the car or they look at the engine. But this car actually has a LCD screen in it. For $19.99, that's a bit of a stretch. But of course the buttons are laggy, but this is truly an amazing car. And inside of it, you have this little tiny LCD screen that shows kind of everything that your gauges would. And although it was laggy, it had a little analog thing like a joystick, and it was truly cool. Now, with this being said, it was the last Skyline to ever be produced. After that, the R35 GTR was made. There was no Skyline in the name. So this was the last Skyline ever built. And without further ado, that is the 8 reasons why people love the R34 GTR. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.